Alrighty folks, let's get it started in here. Some casual modern match for you folks. It's a bit sped up, and the games are actually gonna be pretty quickly and tempo-ish oriented. That's Bant Flash, my own kind of build, own kind of brew, up against my friend's custom own brew, Jeskai CounterBirds, whatever we want to call it, kind of Jeskai tempo style deck. But anyways, so I've been on a pretty long break before this due to vacations and some trips, and this was recorded back somewhere in December. Plus I'm gonna bring you some more EDH, aka Commander run. So yeah, after this and one more tape of Commander where like quality was like but hopefully you'd bear it with me because of amazing commentary and jazz hands that I'm just doing right now. But yeah, so that's turn 1 Islands and Mausoleum Wanderer, I think, and the turn 1 Serum Visions from me. What I'm trying to say is that after a while, after these two tapes and maybe some reviews for Rivals of Ixalan and I don't know, Modern and such, and Legacy perhaps, but only reviews, I will reboot the project and hopefully I will bring better quality to it. So he took a couple of damage off of the red-white Shocklands to play Silver Spirit, smashing for 2 because of the trigger on the Wanderer. So it's not exactly like Jeskai Spirits, but it's close. It's close. It plays way more bizarre cards than Spellquellers, even though you kind of want them there because it's kind of like a CounterBird, but I don't know. You'll see. I think in that slot he has Mantis Rider instead, which is actually by nowadays modern standards fine too. Correct the fetch, grab the basic planes. I don't remember exactly why, because, well, I guess I didn't want to grab Shocklands at this point and I needed a white source. I don't know, for Path maybe, or Resto Angel perhaps, prepping for that. Suppose I didn't have any double blue there in my hand right away. There are not that many of those in the deck actually. Yeah, while on turn 2 is not super impressive, and he's just like bashing me in with the Mantis Rider smashing in for 6, so I'm like down to 11 or something. And yeah, what am I supposed to do with all this? Like, I have interaction in my deck, some paths and well, some counters that I couldn't actually use up, and I'm just so behind here, like. And this matchup is really horrendous, but luckily not supposed to see much of this kind of stuff, like counters on the stick every single turn or something like that. And if I had turn 1 while, I think I had a chance, but I did not. So it was a turn 2, so it was kind of late. So I'm trying to, block something with a Spellstar Sprite that just didn't counter anything, just hoping that it lands. He doesn't have that much instant removal in the deck. Okay, so he cracked Selfless, which blocked, and etc. So, and then dropping what? Oh, dropping Nahiri, right. Well, now I'm screwed. You see a breeding pool on his side of the board. I think it's a 1-off, which is a freebie because of Fetchlands, and he has a green source in the deck because of the Fire Spout. It's a pretty cool card in this deck because, well, you have a bunch of flyers and you want to kind of stem the bleeding against aggro decks, so there you are. I'm not sure why he has Nahiri in the deck, maybe because it's a flexible card and he really likes it. It's actually quite alright in Modern, but in this deck it kind of seems odd, but he has good results with it. Not him actually, can trip all those Squadron Hawks and whatnot. Okay, here's a Smuggler's Copter. Pretty awesome card in this deck that he actually haven't been running for most of the time with the deck. Kind of like a fresh edition, sort of. for this brew at least. And yeah, it's a very fine card for modern, I think, especially in his deck. It does have quite a few 1/1s and a few 1-drops, etc. He doesn't run vials though. The deck doesn't exactly need them, and his curve is already low, and all of his creatures do certain things or special things. Unlike cards like Mantis Rider though. But yeah, I'm at 6 and I'm pretty much dead. He has a he will make me pay 1 extra for the whatever it is. He has Nahiri. He's gonna, what is it? Drop the Cloud of Lions or Cloud of something. The cloudish, spiritish lion. That's basically 1/1 and then plus 1/1 for each flyer on board. On his side, I believe. Something like that. He's about to go into combat, I think. So I'm trying to, I don't know, do something before he equips the, well, cruise up the copter. I don't know, he just didn't quite attack because he smelled the resto, and he didn't really have much to do about it. Anyways, I'm at 5, which is not a great number considering the board on his side. So I cannot do a whole lot here. Can drop like another resto. He's playing it super safe because he knows that's well, it's more or less safe for him. Oh yeah, it's for all the flyers on the board, not only for his. So it's the card from Dissension, is it? Is it Dissension, actually? Could it be Guild Pack? No. It's blue-white, but no, it's from Dissension. From the third set in the Old Ravnica's block, I'm casting First Knowledge. I think I just pitched a bunch of lands with it. Did I complete it yet? He's just attacking with Giant Flyer, and I'm kinda like forced to chump with Resto, which is like super sad news for me. Didn't find a path. Or what is it I'm thinking about? Not exactly sure. Oh, okay. Weird. Oh, it's for each other or total. I think it's like base at 1/1 something. Okay, his second main phase is Squadron Hawk, Crook of Edge. I suppose I have a Spell Snare or something for it, but I'm at 4. I'm not the one with Nahiri and Copter in play, so yeah. Under a ton of pressure. Of course you can differentiate the deck with Mana Leaks, Remands, whatnot. Spell Pierce, if you wish. And there are some cards that I think are not like super essential to the deck, but well, oh well. Oh yeah, this is the weird part about this deck. I think it's like one of the better targets when you ultimate Nahiri actually. So he gets the stupid Magic Origins Flash Flyer that pumps other flyers or something like that. It's really weird. I'm not a huge fan of the card, but I've died to it so many times with decent decks. I'm not talking about my weird concoction that you see here at the Bant Flash, but with real decks. So that was kinda stupid. Because he does have a fair bit of interaction with bolts. At some point he had lightning helix, I think, in there. He doesn't have paths though. They're kinda like a no bow with all the pay extra for the spells. All the Wanderers and stuff like that. So I think I'm trying to convince him to play maybe not Cloud of Fairies, the 1/1 flyer for 2 that's 4 spikes opponent for a sacrifice. at least that. I don't think he wants the common free drop from Time Spiral. It's kind of like on the more expensive side. Yeah. Don't know. He could definitely like he or actually you as well, watching at home, can transform this deck into some sort of Jeskai Spirits or Temple or Control in the more traditional sense. But yeah. I think half of the deck are actually pretty good cards for modern format, and half of the deck are like weird cards that somehow manage to work from time to time in a very amazing fashion. So, oh yeah, okay, so it was just a tap chocolate from me on turn 1, as it seems, and yeah, it's not best of 3. I think we're playing here more games than that. Okay, here's the all of the non-blue chocolate. Here's Misty and the pass. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, so that you don't wonder about the pictures of the cards on my side, is just because that Bant deck is actually full color proxy. Sorry about that, but I think they're decent for testing decks like this that I don't feel super comfortable with testing online somehow, because, well, they're brews for fun. Right, so he smashed it for 1 and just passed the turn, or what is it? Oh yeah, Copter. I can't do a whole lot here because he has the O. I can't switch it on. So yeah, that's pretty sad. I think I had like extra spell starters in my hand, that's why I dropped down this one here, so that the second one actually does things. If I would have, what is it? I was in the play, but it's still a 2-drop against a 1-drop. Okay, now I drew the Buddha Vault. Well, now I can counter a 3-drop, so if he tries Mantis Rider, then I think I would be ready for it. He does get to Kraken with the Copter. I can at least take 1 hit out of it without any blocks. Yeah, so this Jeskai deck has a lot of weird cards, but thanks to Nahiri and Copter you get to filter through them pretty well. I'm pretty sure you like, I mean, Copter is a pretty great card in here. Okay, what did I get to counter? Oh, just the another Wanderer. Weird. Okay, now he plays the tap land that only gives white, but it lets you shuffle in something to the bottom of your deck. It's basically just for the Squadron Hawk synergy. Okay, one spell starter gets in, because I gotta do some damage from time to time. I cannot just stay there and wait. The Bant Flash sadly cannot quite play the Copter, but I feel like, well, I haven't changed the deck, I don't know, for maybe like 2 years or something. Maybe now is the time, and not just because of this weird Jeskai deck, but it's just time to revise it. Maybe I wouldn't change a whole lot here, but I really like it, but just kinda stopped working in the past, like, I don't know, half a year or so. Okay, he pitched the Mantis Rider to the Copter, which is weird. I'm already down to 11 though. Okay, here's a Moorland Hunt, which is interesting, but there is no Runechanter Spike or no equipment, no swords, so I'm not sure why he's like still wants it in the deck. Well, it synergizes with the Wanderer and a few other things, but still. Okay, because I kind of need something going on, so I kind of flashed in and turn as just a vanilla Grizzly Bear Mystic Snake, and he responded by casting his stupid like 4-drop, and now I'm in a deep trouble. I don't have a white source of mana here. Oh well, now I do. But I guess I should have pathed the guy that pumps the flyers while he was tapped out. Well, he had the owl though. Well, but I would have paid one extra anyway, so I don't have a path here, it seems. I don't have a path to survival, even if not talking about winning this game somehow. So that's the second one. The matchup is like kind of weird, but I think games like this with brews like that actually teach you well how to approach the format and in terms of like threats and answers. It's not really cards that you're used to see, but it's not exactly about that. It's about how the cards act and interact and the effects. Okay, one sprite went on the chump blocking duty because I don't know, I feel like because of Fetchlands and Shocklands I would need that life plus actually that would have been a hit for 4 thanks to that 4 drop he played last turn. Okay, now another one of those apparently on my end. I go for Familiar's Ruse and now like actually thinking what to bounce. Maybe I should have bounced Mystic Snake because like come on. Mystic Snake would have not blocked anything anyway. So I'm not sure. But then on the other hand, I have enough mana to recast the sprite with multi-volt activation, so I would be able to counter a 2-drop. Now he's attacking in for 6, pitched another land to the copter. Okay, sprite comes in. I'm not sure I'm playing it like well and properly here just because this matchup is so weird. But then again, taking another 6 maybe wouldn't have been the best. And I'm drawing more lands so quickly, scooping it up and sure, let's see, maybe it's time for sideboard games, we'll see in a bit. So 0-2 so far. Yeah, it's a horrendous matchups, but then again, the odds of decks even remotely close to this meeting each other in a GP or I don't know PPTQ or whatever are like super slim. Even though there are decks similar to these. Okay, sideboarding time. I told you about the proxies, so kitchen things, solvers are gonna be good. If I get to 3 or 4 lands on time, or have an active vial early on. Watch this command is not like amazing. Here is just a flag slot inside. Cryptic command same. But there's an Eternal Witness in the deck that kind of like can do some sweet stuff when it's vialed in and returning back things. Well, Odditor's command actually returns back spell starters, which is overall a pretty good strategy, I think. I'm sure it could easily be a second Cryptic. Glenelandras are in there, sort of. Cutting Spell Pierce, because he's mostly creatures. Vendilion Click is really unimpressive against his deck. Vapor Snag is also like not amazing. I run it in this deck just because you have so many comes into play abilities and stuff. Cutting 1 Vial or 1 Noble is a fine proposition, I think. Leaving 3 of each left is just that there's such terrible top decks, and they kinda do a similar thing. Right. So after sideboard I should have a pretty decent chance. I think he's taking out the Mantis Rider. What is he bringing? Okay, like Ancient Grudge for the Wild and Swords, because that Bant deck actually has a couple of swords in it, one Fire Ice and one Fist and Famine, just because then you get to untap your lands, play Restos, Flicker, I don't know, Wild and Mystic Snake or something like that. Get a pretty good value this way. Because if your opponent's tapped out, then you can like go sword, equip, attack in, untap your lands, and then you actually have something to do during the opponent's turn to hinder their development. Yeah, I think he just like removed like one mana stride and something like for a couple of grudges, and that's about it. Maybe he brought in some fire spells. I think they're in the sideboard, yeah. They're actually quite alright in this matchup, I think. I have both ground and flying creatures, but yeah, when he has some 4 drops to pump his team, then he can, you know, not worry so much, or just, well, a lot of his stuff actually has flash, or he can just set it up with his own Selfless Spirit, for instance, which is also a card that like maybe deserves a slot in this deck, but I think overall, if you want to go with some Bant deck to serious tournaments, you're much better off with a Nightfall or Bant Spirits or something like that. Okay, all got in there. It was cast from a Shockland last turn, so he's the 18th therefore. Now going down to 15. Yeah, my deck is kinda slow, so he can afford to do that. Guess he wants double blue. Well, he definitely wants a red source. Okay, here's the Cloud of something that's now like a 2/2, I believe, that I actually snare away or try to. So I get rid of the owl, and the Cloud is actually smaller now too, so I think it was a fine play to make, forcing the issue sort of. Here's another one, so they're both 2/2s now, I think. Yeah, that's just the second one, yeah. Smashing in for 2. Passing the turn, I've flashed in and the turn sprite, so that next copies do more things. Yeah, obviously cards like Fork Bolt or Electrolyzer, absolutely amazing in this matchup. Against either side, technically. Okay, so now there are 3/3s, I think, but if something tells me I had to play that sprite. Yeah, because they're actually plus X for each flyer on board. He just passed the turn, playing the Synchro Coast. What am I doing? Cracking the fetch and then landing some free drop. Who could that be? I cited out Vendilion Click. Maybe first for knowledge or something? I know, I just played another, I think second sprite, and now like fetching for a tap chalk land. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So drawing paths, which I do have in this deck, would be okay, but then again, considering his board, he's unlikely to have a counter. He does have a few, but not that many, so it's fine. Maybe there is a chance that there has to be a couple copies of Detention Sphere in the sideboard. In the Bant list. I think it's perfectly fine to try out some in either of these decks. In case once I jumped one of those, then I played another. Basically, nothing changes in the matter of like the size of his guys. Okay, what's that? Is that what I think it is? Yeah, Silver taking one of his dudes, but then he bolts it, gets it back or at the end of my turn, and now I'm screwed again, and then he plays the 4-drop that like pumps his guys again, and now I've just had enough. I think it's like, is it lethal no matter what? No, I would have been like down to 0 creatures and down to 2 life, but yeah, from there it's impossible to win. Right, so 0-3. Lost like the first sideboard game as well. My draws have not been amazing. No really wild, no noble to kinda like get proper value out of the sprites. No paths either, which are really not that great in this matchup, but I have to run them because of, well, still I think some copies of Mantis Rider left in the deck, because of this cloud, because of the those 4-drops. And Selfless Spirit, I guess, too. Because might not be too bad to try to path it, then he cracks it, but then you path it at the end of his turn or something like that. Yeah, that Bant deck at least like mulligans well because of Serum Visions and because everything is so damn cheap in terms of the mana cost. Okay, now we're sort of talking. So turn 1 Vial on the play, which is sort of a good place to be. He fetches first tapped Shock, I imagine, at my end. But now if you... Okay, so Wonder, which is not like that bad of a thing. But yeah, Sprite is, even on the plays, like pretty bad at countering 2-drops, obviously. So I don't know, like what can be done to improve the situation for matchups like this. Because yeah, I suppose it's kind of like playing a very weird Vile deck against some sort of a Spirit deck. Okay, I've seen this somewhere. Selfless Spirit, attacks for 2. Okay, I think I just filed in a Noble at his end. Now access to 3 mana though. Okay, Visions. I think I Scryed kept on top, now fetched. Or maybe just did it in the reversed order. I'm not sure which sequence is correct here this turn. It depends. He's unlikely to shoot that Noble. I think he only has like bolts, and that's kind of it to get rid of it easily. So what is it? Okay, I'm just I think here we just considered that I did Visions in the other order, like first fetch and then Visions. It's a very typical mistake for Modern. Just that in Modern I didn't get to play all that much with decks with Visions, so I often mess it up. Even though playing the game for so long, I kinda should know better. Okay, Squadron Hogs are dropping down, and now it's... I don't know. Did I hit my 3rd land? I think he was on the play, because it's not a best of 3 or 5 or whatever. So we just change in terms of who starts first each game. Okay, and here's Muslin Wonder as well, number 2. So first one is 2 power. Okay, now I'm trying a path here. He could have procced the other one though. That's weird. He could have used up the one Not in Sickness. Imagine that's what happened, and that's what he should have done to get in for extra damage. Yeah, again, like losing this game, I have a noble, so I can basically cast whatever, with only one thing a turn, and all these small flyers are just chipping away. I have restos in the deck, but, you know, probably not gonna help. As the self is still alive. Okay, Resto comes down. Flickers Noble. That, well, does nothing, but whatever. Some, I don't know what I'm supposed to block here. I suppose Selfless. I'm still more or less at the healthy life total, but I think my hand is terrible. Just 2 cards left. And he's loaded with Hawks. Sorry for this. Yeah, I think I have one Venzer, the creature, in the Bant deck. What is this coming down? Could that be his own Vendilion click? Yes, that is. He's probably gonna check my hand. I decided to block actually the Mausoleum instead of the Selfless. I suppose so that I can actually resolve some removals or some counters this game. Don't know. Well, this game is not exactly lost yet. Okay, now it's kinda lost if I don't draw a path. The cloud is gonna get me. It's gonna come after me, so yeah. Path for bust or something. Well, I can champ block something, but that's not amazing. Okay, here's a cryptic that he can actually. Okay, no, he can't counter it. He doesn't exactly have hard counters in the deck. Well, maybe some sideboard negates, but they're not actually that good in this matchup. He cryptic taps keeps team in combat, and I believe I just like opted to draw a card. Okay, all these flyers that I have like no way of dealing with. Yeah, I think a couple of Supreme Verdicts should be in the deck, for sure. For situations like this. At least he has Fire Spouts. I don't think he runs any Verdicts. They're much worse in his deck. Because his stuff is not that flashy. Yeah, he has an army of flyers. So suppose you guys kinda like see where all this is all going. Thank you all for watching. Let's see how much damage he can actually do in the next couple of turns. In the meantime, I'm trying to think like what can improve the situation. I think I should add to the sideboard for Bant some Detention Spheres, Supreme Verdicts or something, at least a Verdict. And then maybe a bit more removal. I mean cheap spot removal like Path, for instance. Maybe more Vapor Snags or something. I don't know. Because this situation is kinda like dealing with the Tarmag with slash a bunch of Lingering Souls tokens. So that's what it reminds me about. So I should have a way to kind of like grind through boards like that. Well, Verdict kind of solves it. Yeah, the Bant deck is just so sweet when it really gets to go off, but you didn't get get to see it really. Just check out the casual playlist because I've play tested with this Bant quite a bit. It's a sweet deck, but I haven't had quite the time to optimize it properly. It's fine, but yeah, a bit clunky at times. A bit slow. Not sure if I want like own Lingering Souls in that deck. That means put in a black color Shocklands. Okay, a bunch of restos, blocking and jumping stuff. Still taking a bunch of damage. I'm at 1. One resto dies. What is Vendilion Click was supposed to die, I think. Was it not? Okay, here's another resto, but I'm at 1 and he has like this army of hogs that are gonna get me. Yeah, without red, this is kind of weird. Okay, guys. See you in the next vids. I suppose this wasn't too bad in terms of quality. This will be better. So, yeps, there will be some reboot for all my content and things in the coming months. More articles and more reviews and more people, more decks, more formats, etc. So don't forget to subscribe. Until later, bye folks.